Okay. That solitude promotes insight as well as change has been recognized by great religious leaders who have usually retreated from the world before returning to it to share what has been revealed to them. Removing oneself voluntarily from one's habitual environment promotes self-understanding and contact with those inner depths of being which elude one in the hurly-burly of day-to-day life. There ends the reading. In today's hyper-connected world, we rarely sit in silence, even when we're alone. We scroll, stream, text, or talk. We equate being alone with being left out. There's even a shortcut, abbreviated way of referring to it: FOMO, fear of missing out. In a world that moves too fast and speaks too loudly, the truest sanctuaries are not found in distant places, but in the quiet gifts we often overlook. There are 4 natural sanctuaries where the soul can finally exhale and listen to its own wisdom. Silence gives the mind a break from the constant consumption of digital information. Stillness that allows the restless heart to find its rhythm again. And it is the practice of pausing and allowing life to unfold rather than forcing outcomes. Simplicity, shedding the non-essential to focus on what is essential and meaningful. The art of breaking the cycle of constant accumulation and busyness. And solitude, allowing individuals to meet themselves without distractions, fostering a connection with the self beneath the various roles one plays in daily life. However, together, stillness and solitude are complementary practices for reducing stress and increasing awareness. Solitude is often mistaken for loneliness, but it's distinct from loneliness. It's the intentional, positive practice of being alone to recharge, reflect, and cultivate self-awareness. Moreover, when embraced with intention, solitude is one of the most powerful health tools we have because it allows us to pause the noise, reconnect with our inner world, and replenish our emotional energy. Unlike loneliness, intentional solitude strengthens resilience, improves decision-making, and reduces stress, acting as a hidden superpower for personal growth, allowing the heart and mind to reset from the noise and hustle. I often talk about the importance of practicing self-care, not just the occasional spa day, but consistent daily acts of kindness toward ourselves and others. Whether it's setting healthy boundaries, moving your body, getting enough rest, or spending quiet time reflecting. These small decisions strengthen our ability to meet life with resilience. And given the state of the world today, we all need to become more resilient. We are social animals with needs to partner, gather, socialize, form families, cultivate friendships, build teams and communities. But we're also solitary beings who require time alone to ripen into our most honest, healthy, and whole selves. The poet Maria Reina Rilke informs that solitude offers an opportunity to practice a kind of integrity of self. Continuing, Rilke wrote, and I quote, "I belong to solitude. All my strength is born from this detachment," end of quote. Solitude is a powerful mental health tool that fosters self-discovery, creativity, and emotional regulation by allowing escape from sensory overload and connecting with the inner voice. However, the times that we fly solo can feel lonely, sometimes even fearful, because in today's technical world, we have become so accustomed to being connected that we don't know how to just be. We rely on our cell phones to such an extent that without them, we cannot remember addresses or telephone numbers of friends and family. However, it's necessary to unplug from digital noise from time to time, because these moments, when we're left with just ourselves, often become the most illuminating, meaningful, and constructive experiences of our lives. And we don't have to travel to the farthest corner of the earth to find peace, because solitude can be as close as taking a 10-minute walk around the block, or just sitting in silence in short, intentional moments in your favorite chair, enjoying a morning coffee without our phone, a few moments of stillness while listening to your favorite music. In these moments of intentional pause, we can reconnect with ourselves in the deepest, most honest, and profoundly important ways. I personally like to start my day off with meditation and just sit with music while I have my morning tea. That practice of sitting in stillness helps me set positive intentions for the day. Moreover, it opens my mind for unexpected creativity to flow through. Meister Eckhart informs that we should be willing to be beginners every single morning. Being still is like replenishing the stores because it allows us time and space to reflect and actually hear our thoughts. How many times have we told friends or children to get still inside and listen up because we have something important to tell them? The stillness of the mind refers to a state in which the mind's constant chatter subsides, resulting in a calm and tranquil mental state. It is a state of inner peace and clarity in which the mind is free of excessive thoughts and distractions, allowing one to be fully present in the present moment. According to Vedic scriptures, cultivating mental stillness begins with learning to consciously control one's thoughts. To that end, we must stop wasting energy on things like fear and negativity and redirect that energy towards developing positive mental habits and qualities. The key is to set a stillness intention, to be aware of how we carry ourselves in any given moment, and to concentrate on what we can control. For example, we can reduce external stimuli in our environment by turning down the lights and playing soft music. Playing soft music is my favorite thing for creating a calm atmosphere at our home. I've always left soft music playing to keep my furry friends calm when we leave the house. When our mind finally lets go, inner stillness is where we land. From there, we can reset and upgrade the experiences of life. Many spiritual cultures agree that inner stillness creates an energetic environment for supporting our advancing consciousness. This can unleash the transformational power of our love. Moreover, with the spiritual transformation, a fundamental change can occur and replace the character of the sacred as an object of significance in life, and to a fundamental change in the pathways individuals take to the sacred. However, stillness requires a little practice because our mind will try to occupy this space or any space if the door is left cracked. The methods that use solitude as a way of meditation is profoundly simple. It's a forward-moving choice, and it's highly effective to schedule times for practice of inner stillness, allowing our heart, our mind, and emotions to experience time out from competing over the choices we make. Solitude softens our determined mental and emotional traffic so that our heart's speak can be heard. Practicing solitude helps us to connect with our heart's intelligent guidance to make decisions we can feel good about. It's also an effective practical step for creating a less stressful, happier life, because some very positive changes can unfold. And the most life-altering changes are those that come from within. Unfortunately, few people are aware of the importance of silence in their lives. The hustle and bustle of everyday life not only make relationships we have with others fragile and superficial, but also the relationship with ourselves. When we are surrounded by noise, we don't have time to ask ourselves what we really want. But in silence, we open the way to introspection and are led to ask ourselves what we really want and where we are going. To just sit in a quiet place and enjoy solitude is something that very few people can do. However, if you persist, you will notice how stillness helps you relax, both mentally and physically. It may feel strange to sit alone in solitude doing nothing at first, and perhaps you may only be able to sit still for 5 minutes at a time. But this state of calm invites us to look within ourselves and allow silence to not only teach us to feel good about ourselves, but to feel at ease doing nothing and enjoying our own company. Imagine stillness as a peaceful place where you're taking a time out. As thoughts come up, don't push against them. Casually refocus on breathing love and peace into the stillness. Our higher choices become more obvious as we increase our capacity to listen in stillness to our heart's intelligent guidance. I'm aware that emotional fragility plays a part in some people struggling with being isolated and alone. However, I must say that I really enjoy my own company. Even as a young child, I was at ease with stillness and solitude. And I must say, those around me were concerned. When we are in a noisy environment, our senses are limited. But when we are still, our perception expands, so that being calm and relaxed helps us develop attention, concentration, and also expands perception of our surroundings. Tranquility helps us to see life from different perspectives, because when we are alone with our thoughts, we begin to glimpse the 1,001 reasons for being thankful. Stillness and being alone can teach us the value of simplicity in life. In these moments, we realize that we don't need many things to have a full life, and we learn to be happy with what we have. The refusal to admit change into our lives is a major obstacle to transitions and transformations, because remaining alone in silence allows us to discover fears inside, which are usually covered by noise. We then notice that many of these fears are meaningless, and with that comes spiritual growth and change. This simple fact alone is a good reason to feel grateful. Silence gives us a lesson in courage. Many people think that courage is about facing fear, but value lies in dealing with our own internal fears. Turning inward results in an organic dissolving of the shadows that obscure our inner light and freedom-seeking. The true nature of the self can look different from each individual, but it generally involves a sense of clarity, authenticity, and alignment with one's core values and beliefs. This process can lead to personal growth, increased self-awareness, and a greater sense of inner peace. Spiritual transformation also involves a deep sense of self-acceptance and compassion toward us. So we are able to recognize and accept both our positive and negative aspects without judgment. This reveals our innate respect for the value of solitude. So why not use it in the way it can count the most, to quiet our mental and emotional static so we can hear the counsel from our heart's intuitive suggestions for better choices and outcomes.